Testing. Testing. All right. Sounds good. If you guys can bear with me 1 second, I literally just finished editing some videos for tomorrow off my tablet, and I need to delete the old footage and download the stuff for tomorrow. But I wonder if it'll show up clear enough. Nobody's seen the doors installed yet, and I think I have. Never mind. All right, I'll be able to start in just a second. Just downloading the video that I need to edit for tomorrow. And put this back on the charger. And it's downloading. All right, good to start. I've already checked the audio. That was good. Let me plug this up. Hey guys, how are you guys doing on this lovely Tuesday? I think I'm actually halfway. I'm not on time, but I'm a little earlier than I normally am. This is the one that I'm giving to my mom. It's already been finished up with Odie's oil. Kind of ended up doing that after the stream ended last time. But this one's done. I just wanted to show that one off to you guys. This is the one where I actually gouged it a little bit when I was doing the juice groove. So I'm actually going to reflatten this side to kind of get rid of that gouge. And then we're going to sand up the other two, apply the finish, and then we're going to go into making a really cool TV stand. But flatten this first, and then we can get into the boring part, which is sanding. But also, I just wanted to show you guys how it came out. I think from a bunch of scraps laying around the shop, I think this came out awesome. And she loves it. It's nice and thick. I think she's 2.5, 2.25. 2.25. With the handles and everything else, and my logo right on the back side. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. And I still have a bunch of scraps left over in the shop. Again, this whole entire scrap project was inspired by me just trying to pull out, like, that pile of strips on top of my hand tool bench was stacked all the way up to the underside of my drawer unit units. And I think from these cutting boards, we've actually culled a good portion of the scraps in my shop. The other portion of my scraps are going to go into probably bandsaw boxes. I recently got some bandsaw blades, so we're gonna make some bandsaw boxes. But before we even get into that, after we finish these cutting boards, the next project I am going to tackle is I am building a nightstand for TV stand for my dad. I think I'm about using some of these glued up strips. This is just, again, I had a bunch of really thin strips left over from the door build we just did. So I actually re-laminated them back together. And when I cut these down, I'm thinking about gluing them up some more to make really thick cabinet doors for the TV stand I'm planning to build. And I think the strip look, once they actually get planed down, might be pretty cool. I might actually leave some of them higher and just plane down the middle one side of it. Not sure. I'm not sure what kind of look I'm going for, but I want the strips to kind of show. And then I have a bunch of other scraps over here that I'm going to use to turn and make it to the nightstand. I mean, TV stand. But again, one project at a time. I'm trying to make as little scraps as possible because I know I have an issue with throwing them away. But if I have a bunch of scraps, that means I have a bunch of projects to do. So let's get this one done. At least the unpleasant part being flattening this last side. Let's slide that over there. Also, I think my dad and my brother are also going to be back here in probably about 15, 20 minutes. They're working on his Range Rover. They don't know I was going live today. So it might be a surprise to them. They'll be okay. Everybody be friendly. I'll probably be making more noise than they are. Grab the power. Bring that around here. Move everything else out of the way. Howdy. All right, we should be able to do this in a fairly light set of passes. Hopefully one, if I set this up right the first time. And if you guys remember, what we're trying to tackle is, right, bring it a little bit closer. I had gouged the juice groove when I was doing this. So the goal is to actually take it down just a little bit lower than that. Then we're going to sand it back smooth. Oh, no, you're fine. Appreciate you for joining in. Hey, you had to check your body. I ain't take it till we got there. By all means, knock yourself out. What we're about to tackle is, again, we're about to flatten this board. We had messed up and kind of damaged this juice groove. We're going to get this one flattened. Then we're going to sand these other two. We finished the one for my mom. It still has to cure, though, so I can't really let her use it for the next, 3 or 4 days. But this one's been finished. Yeah, so I just want to get these two off my workbench, and then we're going to start doing a TV stand next. Probably not today. The goal is to get this one flattened, sand it, finished, along with the other one that's off screen, and get this bench cleared up so I can start working on the next pile of wood that's behind the camera. Yeah. So the first thing we need to do is actually set the depth on the router. I probably can actually do less than that. That should work. What? You have to dial the speed back. Oh, you can't really get out. You live.
I can, but I don't want to ride on the grass.
Oh, so you live.
No, it ain't gonna lie.
Well, that's a good excuse for me to show you guys what we got going on.
But that look good. That look good. I like you, the little
brand. Yeah.
What you got?
A branding iron.
That's what that is.
Yep. You guys probably can't tell from the camera, but essentially, because my bench top is perfectly flat, the other side of the cutting board is flat. These rails actually sit into my bench top, and this sled rides on top of that. So my router has a flat reference surface, so it's like a CNC gantry. And see if I can get you guys in there closer. We're essentially taking off just a little bit. But again, it gives me a perfectly flat surface that can be sanded. And if you guys saw the gouge that was originally left behind when I was trying to do the juice groove on this side, essentially all we're trying to do is flatten this side and then remove that gouge. And we're on our way to doing so, probably about halfway there. Again, though, definitely why people want to CNC, though. This definitely doesn't feel good for the wrist. And I was wondering why my right hand was actually hurting the last week. Probably because I flattened all these boards. So if somebody like my older brother or my dad want to buy me a CNC, they ignore me. Thank you. And yeah, yes. So mistakes can be made as long as you have a way to fix them. All it does is make the board just a little bit thinner. And I think these are sitting about like, yeah, definitely wouldn't hurt. And I'm thinking this one is, after it gets flattened, is 1 5/8 inches. So it's still not a thin cutting board by any means. It's not super thick. I think the other one's about 1 7 inches. And then the one I did for my mom is 2 1/4. So as long as it's not like a 3/4 inch cutting board, it's a halfway decent thickness. But yeah, we're gonna get this one flattened up and then go into the fun part, which is sanding. And then I can get these cutting boards off the bench. I can actually start the next project, which is gonna be a lot of fun, being the TV stand. Essentially, it's going to start off with me milling a bunch of wood. I think the funner part is going to be probably the next live stream or two, where I actually get into making the doors and building the cabinet box. I get into how I'm going to do all the joinery and everything else, which I haven't decided yet. Don't even know. It's a mystery to me myself. Let's continue flattening. Fun part is over. And a huge mess is made. I can pull up. Actually, let me loosen those first. And yeah, I had already routed the juice group on this side. So all you have to do now is add in the handles, route this side again with the round over, and sand both cutting boards. And yeah, if you didn't hear me, the TV stand for my dad. If I'm lucky, I'll have it done before Father's Day. Now that the pressure's relieved off of these, I can pop these up. Give them a little wiggle. Where's my? I had a tiny crowbar somewhere, don't know where. And then the rails and the router sled all still inside of my bin. So I'll put these away. Yeah, I got about a month. I should have plenty of time. Should be though. I procrastinate pretty heavily. Thank you, sir.
What the thing you was cutting on? Oh, that was the bowl.
Yeah, I just made it flat. Oh, and I put it all goes. It's all I took it all apart. Yeah, it's all separate pieces, so it doesn't have to stay here. I can always put it away, pull it back out whenever I need it again. Until you, Pops, if you want to buy me a CNC, yeah, Pop, we'll stick it right back here in the corner.
I thought your thing back there wasn't working.
No, this stopped working. My thing for my sander stopped working.
Why you didn't use that?
That doesn't work for small items. It only works for big tools. So it only solves a portion of my problem. I need to get the receipt and send it in, is what they said.
Oh, you still got what?
3 years. I just gotta call and find the receipt. I'll go back here now. All right, guys. Next up is the handles. So we're going to come back to the router table. And how I had it set up worked for the other two cutting boards. So I'm about to check and see, but hopefully I don't have to do anything to the fence, or I probably have to slide the fence forward. But hopefully I don't have to do anything to the stop blocks. Where's the router? There it is. Before we do the router table, I want to go ahead and give the back side a fresh round over. And all I did was use the edges on the back side. And this still should be set up for the handles. All I need to do is slide the fence forward and lower the bit. We'll go through the same cutting process that we did previously for the other handles. I need to switch over my vacuum. Let's see. Check this. Thankfully, the tape hasn't gone anywhere. Lock that in. And that's the edge of the bit. And that's the edge of the bit. I just need to start off with a lower cut. And this will take like, I think it was 6 passes, then a little bit of sanding afterwards. Well, 6 passes on each handle. So 12 passes, and we'll have cutting board handles. Hopefully you guys are ready because we're about to start. Yeah. Let's keep going. And again, since my dad's watching, I'm going to say this to you guys. Essentially, what we're doing is we're making a handle. But again, because my dad's watching, if I had a bigger cove bit, like maybe 1 or 2 more sizes, I wouldn't have to do this in 3 or 4 passes. So if this was the handle, your fingers would get, be a little too tight for you to pick it up on the countertop. So I need to do like 2 or 3 passes to make it deeper, and also step it this way just a little bit so your fingers can get in there. So I think you heard me. So so up, Pop. Yes, sir. You can, if you want to buy me some router bits, though. There's always router bits. That might be too much for the next pass. I'm actually hungry, chat. We're going to finish these up, get it sanded, and hopefully at least get all the wood off of that bench over there. Sometimes. I typically only add juice grooves if the cutting board is thick enough. And if I ever do them, like I have some over here. It really just depends on what my scraps are looking like and what I'm feeling like doing. If I have a lot of scraps and I'm just trying to get rid of all the material, I might just do some simple face grain cutting boards. And instead of even doing handles, I think this one is 1.25 inches. But this is just a simple face grain one, with various types of hardwood and a chamfered edge to give you a little finger grab. Because without going through the whole entire router process or juice grooves and doing all that, some cutting boards, especially since most of mine, I'm a general contractor. So a lot of times when I finish up a bathroom or a kitchen remodel, I just give them away to clients. I have some that I just made. Well, I have one I made for my mom. So these are just extras because I'm already in the process of making cutting boards. So I have, you can't make simpler ones. It really just depends on if you're marketing them to sell or if you're just making cutting boards for fun to get rid of scraps or to, did you see the other one I made for my mom? If you just joined in, let me grab that one. And thank you. that glare will stop. And yeah, has the big old handles. Get you something to grab onto. Nice and deep juice grooves. And this one is 2 1/4 inches thick. My mom's gonna love it. I actually want to make it kind of attached to a countertop and fold out the way. But we'll see. Thank you. That is probably my favorite one I've done so far too. There's so many really cool designs you can do with cutting boards. Like you can do like 3-dimensional patterns and stuff like that. But again, I'm working with just scraps, and I have no pre-inspiration before I start a project. I'm kind of just coming in the shop and making something. But if I had like for the 3-dimensional designs, they tell you what size strips you need, how many alternating colors and stuff like that. So I could plan to make one. It's just I never really planned to make most of my stuff. It's really just me in the shop doing stuff. But yeah, I really do. After making that one, I'm like, oh, I can really make some really cool ones. I probably should. Where did I put my cigarettes? I probably should start trying to make some really cool ones. Because making simple cutting boards is easy. Everybody has those, but if I make really nice cutting boards, it's more of a staple. Looking for my cigarettes and my water. Both have eluded me. Found my water. Did I blow them on the floor? They were on the table at one point, so they probably got blown on the floor. Do you have to use like a special kind of glue that's food safe? Thank you. She thinks so too. Only thing that she told me is that she wished it was lighter, which actually hurt my feelings because like I took the time to make something nice and thick and try to make it nice, but she wanted something thinner just so she can pick it up easier. And no, you just need a waterproof glue, and I use Type Bond 3. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm heavily distracted by the fact that I lost a pack of cigarettes that were sitting right here. I hate losing stuff. I have cargos and it's not in my pockets. I smoked a cigarette before I even started the stream now. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am heavily confused. I'll be right back. I know I got one in the truck. I shot the sheriff. Kill the deputy. And what's going to tick me off is I'm going to find them later. They're going to be sitting in a very obvious place. But that's going to be okay. My feelings won't be hurt. No, I checked my apron. I checked my apron and my pockets twice. So like I actually don't know where they are. It's all right. I did blow off the workbench with my leaf blower, and things like this are bound to. I found them. Oh, that's funny. I went to my truck and grabbed my other pack, and the ones I was looking for did get blown off the bench, fell behind some scrap wood. This is why doing this project is an imperative. If I don't clean up all the scraps in my shop, I would never be able to find anything. All right. Back to productivity. And yes, they are just for decoration. I'm terribly blind. One more time. That's deep enough. I'll need to move the fence back to make it a little bit thicker for my big sausage papers. So we're getting there. One more pass. We're gonna move the fence back. And then I have some stuff I need to address on the front edge. It's an awesome shield. I cannot do it with you. That's the one cool thing about riding here in the tabletop. The tabletop blade is flat and you a big circle. The fence has to be parallel with your blade. Routers have a pivot. The center that spins on the same axis. So you can actually move your fence in and back, rotate it. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight in the hot. Routers, I do need to lower the thing. Now that we have our front to dress it, we'll start back all the way back at the bottom, work our way all the way back to the proper depth. Then the handle is a little bit inside. Not sure if you guys can tell it's deeper, but he has good. All right. So we have our handles. They're deep enough. I can fit my mitts in there. They're comfortable, minus the ridges, which we're going to take care of with the chisel and some sanding. I can put these two back over here because these are already finished. Don't get these dusty. Where did I put this? I'm going to use combination of chisel. I'm going to clamp this down. And to take care of the ridges, combination of paring and bevel down on your chisel. Really just depends on how the grain responds to your chisel. But fastest way to get rid of the ridge, unless you have a card scraper, I'll say that'd be a pretty good way to do it too. Unfortunately, I don't have one yet. Where's my other hold down clamp? It's probably on that other bench up there. I don't feel like looking for it. We're just gonna go with one. Want to try not to overshoot it. The goal is to get rid of most of the ridge, and you can finish the rest up with sandpaper. Also, don't want to try to take too much off with the chisel, and so people end up slipping and like gouging themselves. Essentially, you want whatever you were trying to take off, just keep halving your material. So there's a lip right here. That's too much for me to take off with my chisel. I'm going to come up higher. I'm able to take a shaving, come down a little bit lower. I'm able to take a shaving. I'm able to take a shaving. And essentially, you'll just keep working your way down until you get to where you're trying to go. And for this little inside curve, again, it's a lot easier if it wasn't end grain. If it was face grain, the chisel will work better. But you can use the chisel as a card scraper and essentially find that bevel, find that curve, and just rotate your chisel along it. End grain might get a little splintery, but again, you'll take care of that with your sanding. The goal is to take care of the large ridge. That'll make it uncomfortable to hold. And using your chisel, again, a lot faster than trying to sand that entire ridge out. Unless you're one of those weirdos who like sanding. In which case, I probably have a job for you. Wish I had some sharp carving chisels. And yes, take your time. You'll get it done. It's not too bad. Like that's already smooth enough for me to run my hand on. A little bit of sanding with 80 grit will take care of the rest. You know what? I actually wonder if this would be easier in the hand tool device. Probably would be. Probably would be. And if I was a real hand tool woodworker, I probably would have went there first. Well, this is good enough. It's not moving too much. Another technique, if you can't push straight in, you can get your chisel started at an angle. Once I push in and I'm stuck, I can slice the chisel by sliding the chisel this way. Instead of trying to keep pushing straight, you essentially take slicing cuts. But again, the grain of the wood, how hard the wood is, will tell you how you need to use your chisel. And again, I am no expert at this. I kind of learn by fumbling. And I do watch a lot of YouTube. So if you guys watch a lot of YouTube, I know there's one guy you guys probably should check out. It's new World Carpentry. If you guys aren't already subscribed, I highly recommend it. That guy drops some really good content. I hear he's a wealth of knowledge. Also, we have 20 people in here. I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys go ahead and like up the video or like up the stream. Doesn't cost you guys anything, but it helps the channel out a lot, as well as the algorithm. More likes. Next thing you guys know, there'll be more of you guys in here chatting up or snowing, keeping you guys entertained while I do this. All right, that's that corner. I'm going to get the proper size router bit eventually. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. Proper size router bits are coming in my future. A variety of sets. So many router bits. And I remember there was also a secondary issue on this side, because this was the first one I did, and I was kind of testing things out. So I did nick this corner just a little bit, so it actually gets a little bit wider. And also I did it in 2 passes. So I tried to, what did I do? Oh yeah, I lowered the bit. So that bit has a cutter on the full, I guess, top 3/8 of an inch of the cove bit. So once you go deeper than that, it leaves a little bit of a ridge. So I actually need to take care of that ridge as well. But again, it's going to be more ingrained. It's going to be lots of fun. I have half a mind to try a flush trim bit, flush trim 1/4 inch bit. I almost had a little bit of relief. I was sliding my chisel really easy right there. I was like, oh, I found the direction of the grain, but these are all random blocks re-glued together. So there isn't really too much consistent grain direction over any of this board. And it's all in grain. So she made chip. So all I can do is try to chisel it pretty close and then finish it up with a sander. I don't want to get it perfectly flush because, again, if she chips in that process, it'll leave me with an ugly edge. All right, that's one short side. Actually, not really. I gotta do this side too. Whew. Now we're officially done one short side. And that's ready for sanding. Same thing for these sides. And then I can actually bust out the actual electric sander and get this sanded up through the grits, water pop it. Then we can apply the finish to both of these so you guys can see how it comes to life. Let's put a bench dog right here. Whew. Progress. Whew. Hey, how you doing? I would say two things about it. One, definitely want a CNC. It's on my list of items. Just bought a new track saw. Got to get a new dust extractor. Need like 5 more routers. Want to give me a lathe. But yeah, CNC is on the list of items. And secondly, I will not say that's better than hand tool woodworking because again, I actually did this with my router and I used my router sled to flatten everything. But because of some of those mistakes that happened, having the ability to do things with hand tools saves you time and gives you the ability to fix problems that you can't fix without hand tools. So, yes, CNC is nice, but never neglect your need to use hand tools. It's definitely something you should have in your arsenal for installs or whatever the case may be. Having the ability to use hand tools is nothing that's something that should be disregarded. Actually, I know a buddy of mine now who is currently doing a door that has quatrefoils on them, and he has a CNC, but his CNC. Thank you. But yeah, his CNC cannot carve the full quatrefoil, so he only uses CNC to make the portion of it. So then he decided to go, since he can't do it all in the CNC, he decided to figure out how to. He's pretty much teaching himself how to carve, and I will say that his skill set that he's gained from the job is amazing. I mean, don't shy away from using hand tools. Definitely say that. I will say that yes, a CNC will be a game changer. I actually have a space in my shop that is. I'm playing a slapper right there. Trust and believe. As soon as I get the $5,000-$6,000 for the one that I was looking at, it's going right there in that room. Because yeah, flattening cutting boards, flattening tabletops, doing juice grooves, those tasks definitely suck. But setting up a juice groove jig or using a handheld router sled, those things all suck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But again, having that skill set will allow me to set up a jig. I might need to use my handheld router to do something on a job site, or I don't know. You gotta do your time in the doghouse before you can have all the tools, I guess. Everybody wants a giant sliding table saw. Can't quite fit in here yet. So ways around it. Learn how to adapt, improvise, and overcome. And this is the last side. We're almost done, guys. I was hoping you guys were enjoying the woodworking ASMR. And I am actually starving. I was debating if I should order food. That'll make me a real streamer, ordering food while streaming. Let's see. What kind of glue is used? I actually just used Type-Bind 3. And these patterns, funny enough, are scrap panels from some doors I built. I built some doors, the panels. These are the offcuts of the panels that I just re-glued to make this cutting board. And yeah, Type-Bind 3 for all my cutting boards. Well, for everything, really. I don't really use any other glue. Unless it's an epoxy, but at Type-Bind or an epoxy will do for this. But actually, no, I don't think you can use an epoxy glue. Well, it's only on the seams. You can't use an epoxy finish, but I think you can use epoxy to glue up a cutting board. I have to double check into what people say about that. But as for me, I use Type-Bind for everything. Doors, tables, cabinets. That way I'm not mixing up or switching glues. Finally, I can start sanding. Oh my God. Hopefully, when you say grandpa, that makes me think that they didn't have electric sanders. I don't know when they came around, but hand sanding is something I absolutely appall. But again, just like all hand touches, there's a time and place for it. Like these juice grooves, best way to do it is to hand sand them. All right. All the scraping and stuff is done. Now I can go into the fun part, which is sanding. And this one is 220. I need to start off with that one's 120. That's the 150. I thought I had a piece of 80. probably sand this one over here. And then that. Well, this one didn't have any major issues. I just need to hit the handle area. Thank you. And if you just joined in, boss man, you might have missed the one I did for my mom. This one came out really nice. And I got my logo at the bottom. Yeah, this one came out pretty sick. That's why I have a problem throwing away scraps, because every now and again I come up with something pretty cool that makes it worth holding on to stuff. And yeah, if I can justify a little bit of the scraps, all the scraps have a chance. And that's where the problem starts for me. Because once that one little piece makes its way through, everything has a chance. Everything has a case. And I'm fair. You know, I got to listen to all their cases. All right, that was 80 grit. I just need to hit this handle with 80 grit, then I'll switch over to 100, get the handle and the juice grooves, then I can switch over to the actual orbital and work my way up from 120 to 150 water pop, and then 220. Nope, just these two to sand all the way through the grits. And unfortunately, as you see, we're just now getting through the first grit, which was 100. And then I'm about to throw 120 on the sander, sand the whole face, sand the back. Then I'm going to switch over to 120 sandpaper, do all the handles and grooves, and keep going through. Actually, I might switch to the 120 paper now, do all the hand sanding at 120, then switch to 120 orbital, then do 150 hand sanding, 150 orbital, then water pop, let it dry, then final sanding. And then we will have usable cutting boards. Oh, yeah, remember, I didn't have 120 red sandpaper, so I went straight to 150. So I'm going to sand the top with the 120 first. And then sand it with the 150 by hand. Now we're on to 150. All right, that's all the sanding for right now. Now that these are sanded up to 150, the next thing I need to do is wet them. It's called water popping, essentially by wetting all the grains in the wood. You raise all the grain, and then you'll sand it back down before your final, well, as your final grit. The point of doing this before you apply your finish is you wouldn't want your client to get your cutting board and the first time they go home and actually wash it, all the grain and your cutting board gets really fuzzy, even though you sanded it up to 220 grit or whatever else. So to stop that from happening, you want to raise the grain beforehand, first time it gets wet, and then knock it back down before your final grit and before your finish. And also, again, water popping typically unveils what the cutting board itself is going to look like. Pretty boring. Doesn't have all the fancy colors that my mom's cutting board has, but this is solid ash in grain. So it's a really nice cutting board. You want to get everything thoroughly soaked. all the rain can raise and be knocked down with that final sand. And again, a lot easier if you have a spray bottle. I don't have one inside the shop, unfortunately. So I do it all the fun way by making a big mess. And I was also originally thinking about using Odizol on this like I did on my mom's. These are probably going to get a boiled linseed oil strictly because of time. Thank you. And yes, they would. Need to grab another water bottle. And now that these are wet, I want to grab a paper towel, wipe off my bench. I need to let these sit here and air dry. And then I'll hit them with their final grit being 220, and then they'll be ready for their finish. But again, the water just helps show you guys. So whenever you apply a finish to your board or anything, really all you're doing is hydrating the wood. So water does the same thing. Shows you what it's going to look like. Let's wipe this off. Let these sit for a second. There we go. Now I can let these sit. Probably dry faster up on this side like that. Now, my question is, what am I going to do while these dry? It'll probably take like 5-6 minutes. I think I'm going to light some marijuana. I was about to start jointing and planing all these boards, but I don't think so. Then that's a tomorrow project. When I'm clear-headed, either tomorrow or Thursday. I should be off as well. Probably Thursday. I haven't eaten yet. No, because if I start this stuff will need to start going on that bench, and that bench is covered in stuff. Yeah, nah. Mm. Ugh. I can sit down for a little bit. Probably should turn the fan on. It'll probably dry a little bit faster. Oh, that's what I gotta do. I gotta plug up my branding iron. Because as soon as they dry, I'm gonna brand them, then hit them with the final grits. And if you guys haven't seen it, oh, focus, rotate. Some branding iron that I picked up from Amazon. I think it was like $60, $70. It's been doing me some justice so far. All right, while that's warming up, these will dry. Let me cut the fan on. And I will sit down for the first time today and talk to you guys. Thank you. So branding iron is going to make my cutting boards recognizable across the world until it gets washed like 50 times. That is one reason why I do want to CNC though, because I would love to be able to actually carve in my logo and then fill it with epoxy. I can show you guys. I'm not sure if it's going to show up. Yeah, you can see, some of the board that's wet, some that's wet, some that's not. How it's starting to dry out. So all we're doing is waiting for the rest of the board to kind of dry out, and then she can get branded. Get her final sand, and then we'll hit her with some boiled linseed oil. Oh yeah, that's what the actual finish is gonna do. This has only been hit with water to raise all the grain before our final sanding process. So we want it to dry out so we can sand it one more time. But when we actually put our finish on it, it's gonna stay hydrated. Again, the water is just to raise the grain. Pretty much, if you to make it make sense, that even if you sand it up really, really smooth, if the board has never been wet, once you go to put your finish on it, or once somebody goes to wash the board for the first time, the board is going to get really rough and fuzzy because all the wood fibers have now been raised. So you want to raise the grain, sand it with your final grit, and then apply your finish, which will keep it from getting fuzzy later on. So we want everything to dry out right now. That's a good thing. Excuse me. I apologize. Oh, that's getting hot. I have to let this dry. After it dries, I can brand it and then I can give it its final sanding and then I can apply the finish. So currently I'm just waiting for it to dry. I was about to go in the back and start jointing and planning the other boards, but that feels like a tomorrow or a later this evening project. Maybe after I get some food in me. Probably I gotta charge my phone anyway. So this stream will end once these get boiled and boiling seed oiled, which we're pretty close. It's starting to dry up nicely. Really waiting for this backside to be nice and dry so I can hit it with a grinding iron. I do okay. I want to make like a really cool one though. One of my next future projects, I have a ton of scrap still left, so I'll focus on actually making one that looks really cool. Nope, it was too wet, so it needed to be there longer. Yep, let that dry before I end up with like 20 stamps on these. Build for fun. Haven't done it yet, but I'd probably say tables. Like I have yet to build a dining room table, but like for that to be a fun build for me, I don't want to be doing epoxy or something like that. So I'll need to have like a couple live edge slabs. And okay, man. But yeah, I'll need a couple live edge slabs and a couple gallons of epoxy, which I don't have. See, I saw some things that said that it comes out clear when it's wet, but like all the other letters didn't even go up there. So definitely works better when it's dry. Or maybe it cooled down because I hadn't touched it in a while. Who knows? I am getting impatient now. So that's part of the fun of epoxy river tables. There's not really too much design in the top. It really is about the slabs that you have and how you can or the slab that you have and seeing how you can orient it to make a tabletop. So it's really just needing epoxy and flatten it with a router sled or a CNC. But it's the look of the table at the end. I need to come up with some leg designs. That is something I do need to work on because I have none in mind. Which is why this TV stand I'm about to build is going to be a floating TV stand, by the way. Strictly because coming up with leg designs is too much. I don't have that much artsy fartsy in me. Oh, I cannot wait to eat food. For something like that, for a table leg, you'll probably need to get into power carving. And I don't have the tools for that. Or like a chainsaw, you'll want to start with like a big old block. And have to be okay with a lot of stuff either turning into scraps or you probably could make like a branch base. You probably could take like a solid block and then like if I had a domino joiner or something, add a bunch of branches, but then you still need to power carve the branches to make them look good. But that is a cool idea for a table base, but God, it'll be extremely complicated. Probably a lot easier if you can actually find, a trunk or a branch, and then add those branches and incorporate them into your table base versus trying to build, turning blocks of wood into an organic tree pretty hard. But if you can find an organic tree, probably easier to make that into your table base. But then at that point, it's not really too much woodworking. It's really just stripping the bark off of whatever logs, and attach them together. So like I'm trying to, I don't know. Oh yeah, it'd be pretty cool. But then it's like my access to lumber. I'm trying to do with what I have here, which I have a good bit of wood. I just got to be creative with how I use it and what I turn it into. And we're getting there. I probably should leave them upright so both sides can get the air. But the back side is where I'm going to brand. And realistically, once I hit it with the sander, it'll dry up really quick. But I do want that back side to dry up so I can brand them. Oh my God, I wonder if there's still a Danish inside. Oh my God, I haven't been inside today. If when I end this live stream and there's a Danish still on my table, I'm going to cry. I don't think there's going to be one. But oh my God, if I walk in there and there's a Danish, I will have real tears. All right, I'm about to cheat. I start thinking about that Danish and that. Yeah, I want food. So it's still a little moist now. It's not super moist. But if it gets hit with some sandpaper, it'll dry up instantly. Yes, they are. These are in-grain cutting boards made from a bunch of short blocks like these. I recently did a bunch of doors and the ends of the stiles and rails. I cut them up and made blocks and then glued up the blocks to make in-grain cutting boards. And this is ash. Hey, how you doing, boss man? Thanks for joining in. And all is well. Just a lot of sand. This is, I've already water popped them. This is the final tour at 220. And then we're going to hit these with a boiled linseed oil and call them good. Joining in, I can show you the other one that we had did. This was a couple different species of wood. We have walnut, mahogany, ash, walnut. There's like a purple wood here on the outside, though. I don't know what this is. Mainly walnut, ash, mahogany, and a little bit of red oak. Yes, man, very hard. No breaks. I'm doing firming up some bathrooms during the day and making beautiful cutting boards by night. And thank you. I think that one came out really awesome. That was actually for my mom. That's her Mother's Day gift. She has seen it. She can't have it though, so I just oiled it. And it's going to be like another 5 days or so before I can let her actually start cutting on it and using it. Oh my God. As soon as this is done, though, I can get some food. Make sure my phone isn't about to die. I'm at 23%. I really want to be able to get the finish on these before I end the stream, but I really don't want the stream, my phone to end up dying and me not end the stream, because whenever that happens, it takes me a while to actually end it. And yeah, she already done dropped down to 21%. I'm gonna check it in just a second to see if it goes up any or if it slows down. Hopefully we can get the oiling in this process, in this stream. Okay, it only went down by one, so maybe it bought me a little bit of time. This is not how I normally apply boiled linseed oil. This is how we're going to do it today. Hey, where's my boiled linseed oil? It's not up here. Oh, it's down there. Okay. Cool. I almost freaked out. I was about to say, where is that? Could have sworn I used it recently. Let me cut up a rag. Yeah, this is not gonna be my typical boiled linseed oil application. Okay, that's went down from 20%. Yeah, normally I'll go grab me a bowl. All right. I'm gonna let this one sit for probably about 15-30 minutes, and then it just needs to be wiped off. Let me check my phone. Okay, yeah, the charging is not increasing the percentages, but it hasn't dropped any. Still sitting at 20%. So I guess I'll call that a win. That end grain is really thirsty. You drink a lot of finish. You want to make sure you get it all nice and saturated. And as far as this rag, you either want to set it out somewhere where you can let it air dry on something solid like concrete, away from your benches and stuff. But typically, if I'm busy, I'll take this, soak it in water, and I'll actually let it air dry when I'm actually, going to be here in a week. So this is going to get soaked and then get hung out to dry tomorrow. Let me wash my hands and I'll give you guys a close-up of these, and we'll end the stream there. Whew. All right, next stream, I promise we'll be starting this TV stand. But I think, again, on this scrap journey, I think we've come a long way. So again, if you guys remember what these started like, if you guys go back to other streams, these were pieces from old, like small 2 or 3 inch pieces from my stiles and rails. These skinnier strips are all the panels. Like, if I have like a 36-inch wide piece and my door panel was like 30 inches or 33, the little 2 or 3 inch slither left over. Those were all re-glued up. And then we have all these strips over here that were glued up to make more boards. So we have some really cool projects coming, all from scraps. Really excited to show you guys. So stay tuned. Smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.